good evening, everyone, and we want to welcome you to another episode of the Bag Lady Show. And we're just all about spreading compassion and helping women by selling our handbags and supporting causes that help women all over the world. And it just enriches all of us when we live lives of service. And today is
Good old April Fool's Day. Oh my. Day where a lot of pranks are pulled. Little history about April Fool's Day. Some historians speculate that April Fool's Day dates back to 1582 when France switched from the Julian calendar to the Gregorian calendar. People who were slow to get the news didn't realize the start of the new year had moved to January 1st and continued to celebrate it during the last week of March through April 1st. They became the butt of the jokes and hoaxes and were called April Fools. I had not
I
heard
never ever
the
heard that.
history of April Fool's
Very
Day.
interesting. I can see how it could happen, changing the calendar over. And
Absolutely.
I suppose there's some famous hoaxes that have been put on people around the world.
And there's some famous ones by some big chains. In 1996, Taco Bell dumped people when it announced it had agreed to purchase Philadelphia's Liberty Bell and intended to rename it Taco Liberty Bell. Not a bad idea, I guess. I don't know. In 1998, after Burger King advertised a left-handed Whopper, tons of clueless customers requested the fake sandwich. So those are some cute
That
big
would make
hoaxes.
you look like a fool. You drive up to the drive-in and say, "What's your left-handed?"
Well, I'm sure
Whopper?"
that everybody left-handed around the world is excited, like finally a left-handed sandwich. Everything's right-handed around here, you know? That's cute.
Well, Burger King might have produced a fake sandwich, but our interview today is with a woman who is the real deal. She is the president of Navajo Ministries and has quite a story. And wow, she really lays down her life for children. And we're excited about interviewing her and excited about you being able to hear her story as well.
Also, stay tuned because we will have a raffle drawing for one lucky tribe member who has sent in their information. So we'll
That's
look
right.
forward to that at the end as well.
We are with Annette Reich today, and she is the president of Navajo Ministries, Four Corners Home for Children. We are so happy to have you on the program today.
Yes.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Rana.
Oh, well, listen, thank you so much. Before we get into your work with Navajo Ministries and the Four Corners Home for Children, I just want to know, a little bit about who you are and things from your background and people that influenced you. I don't really know anything besides since you've been here. So, and I know our listeners
Oh,
love to hear your story and some of your journey. So if you just share some
wow.
of that.
Well, I came up from a very simple background of biscuits and gravy, farm
That's
life.
great.
I was raised on a farm. My mom and dad were and still are very strong believers in Christ. I have 5 sisters.
Oh
we
my.
we just grew up in church. Everything revolved around church. Our friends
Sure.
were there. Our activities were there.
Mhm.
Very good work ethic my dad instilled in all of us girls. He called us boys. He'd come home from work and say, "Oh, hey boys, I'm home,"
It was so funny. Boy, he was outnumbered, wasn't he? Oh my goodness.
He had it made.
Oh no, that's true.
So,
He had
yeah.
all these people waiting on him. Are you
Yeah.
the oldest, the middle, the younger?
Oh, I am the fourth of 6.
Fourth.
So
Oh,
I have, and we're all right around 2-3 years apart. So
yeah.
very
Wow.
close knit family. We still are, but I grew
What kind
up.
of a farm? What kind of a working farm?
It was about 160 acres.
Oh, wow.
Now, my dad hired folks to farm it for us. He was an insurance agent. He would
I
work in
see.
town, but
I
come home.
see.
We had all the animals though. So us
Wow.
girls, we took care of animals, chickens, cows, horses.
My goodness. You had that, people have no idea how much work that is to run a
It is a
farm.
lot of work.
My goodness.
So
It
much
is.
Oh my,
and so much fun.
but yeah, like you say, a simpler life, but
It
hard
was.
work, but you learn great values. What did you do after high school?
I got married
So,
very young and
okay.
started having my own children.
And
And
how old or what, girls, boys? I've
I
met them, but
have
years ago.
2 boys and a girl.
Okay.
And this happened in the St. Louis, Missouri area.
All
We lived
right.
in Kentucky for about 10 years. We came here from Kentucky with those 3 kids after I moved here to be a house mom in one of the homes here at Four Corners Home for
Yes.
Children. A little
And-
baby was placed with me,
Oh my
and
goodness.
his mother was 15 years old and unable to care for him. And Kay Baker at the time was director of children's services, and I told her, I don't do babies. And
No,
she
thank
said,
you.
well, I had 8, 9 other kids in the house.
Oh,
So 3 of them were my own, but other, I guess we would call the situation fostering, but the kids that come to us aren't foster kids in that sense.
Okay.
But I did have 9 other children in the house, and I just thought a baby seemed like a lot of work. And wow, she just
that's a blessing.
insisted, and that became part of my lifelong journey and story. And it's an amazing story, but he never left me.
Oh,
my
wow.
Came in at 2 months old and never left.
Well, let's back
So-
up for our listeners. So you're at Four Corners Home for Children.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
before you were in this position, you were a house foster parent. So
Yes,
kind
ma'am.
of
Yeah.
give our listeners an idea of what that is and what this mission does.
So typical foster parenting, you take foster children into your home, but our situation is we have 3 large homes for children, and the parents move into the children's home. So there were 8 children waiting for me 22 years ago when I arrived here, and I brought 3 of my own. So
Wow.
we had a home initially of 11 children. And these are children that are in out of home placement for a variety of reasons. There may be a substance abuse, there may be some domestic violence, but for whatever reason, either their family brings them to us to care for until they can reunite with their families, or there might be an agency involved. Tribal social services might intervene in a child's situation and bring them to us. So the children stay for varying lengths of time. If the agency has placed a child, most likely that child will be here around a year until they find a permanent situation for the child. If a family member, like a grandmother, places a very young child, they might be here for a while. We have a couple of children now. One is 17 and he's been here 15 years.
Oh my.
So he will be here obviously until he graduates. Our kids don't age out like they do in the state system. They are welcome to stay here as they continue their education or as they work and establish some sort of career. We don't say, hey, you're 18, it's time to go. Often they want to. When they're 18, they want to strike out on their own. But that's
So
a little bit
are
of
all
how
of
it
these-
works here.
They're all coming from the reservation, is that correct?
Not always.
Not always.
Some of them, most of our children are Navajo. That is where the need is. But we actually have a sibling group right now that did not come from the reservation, and they're not. They are part Navajo. But we don't turn away any child where there's a need. We have a good relationship, good reputation with the Navajo tribe, with the headquarters, as well as the agencies there on the Navajo Nation. So we are usually the first ones they call.
Oh, good. And
we are completely private. We are faith-based, completely privately funded. So as far as CYFD and their children, they don't place with us as much because our program is different. We don't take their funding. So sometimes it works. We have a couple now who are CYFD kids, but predominantly we have private and tribal placements.
And tribal. And so then when these children come, can you tell us what that must be like for them coming into this new environment? And it's a great, amazing, it sounds like a home environment versus an institutionalized type setting. What are some of the challenges for the kids and for the parents, the foster parents, that when these kids come in?
I remember when I moved here, there were 8 children waiting for me, but as we reunited them with family and new children began to arrive, I remember for me as the mom, it being a frightening experience, just some anxiety there. Well, I don't know this little human being who has great needs and cares and concerns, and how will I respond to them? How will I know what to do? You know, I was in my 30s when I moved here. I know that's confusing because I look like I'm 30 years old, but that was
really
25 years ago.
Well, maybe 35. You know, come
That
on.
was 22 years ago. So,
Wow.
you know, God just, if you lean on him and press into him, he shows you exactly what to do, whether that is in this situation or any situation you'll face in life.
That's right.
If we trust him to lead us and actually allow him to do that, it's not too scary. So new children will come in. For them, I am sure it's frightening.
Oh my goodness.
Especially if they're not coming with a sibling group, if they're coming just as a single child. You know, who are these people? What do I call them? Are they safe? Is this a safe place? We try to just comfort the children as they arrive. We don't, you know, slap them with the rules and the regulations and all of that. We just try to be here and meet their needs. They're dealing with abandonment, separation, and loss.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. And I was
at minimum.
At minimum.
I was telling Shauna about that. I said abandonment issues. I've talked many times. I've been involved with Navajo Ministries and Four Corners Home for Children for a long time. That is the issue. Is that are those abandonment issues, and you know, having a very sheltered family life myself. And, you know, we can't imagine, number one, the turmoil that they've come out of, but then the fear. But then on top of that, the emotional trauma that you're dealing with. And how did you deal with these children? So I'm sure so many of them had deep emotional issues that came out. And did you just take it one day at a time with emotion?
And we have great training through our state, our Christian Child Care Association, great trainings in these issues, in attachment issues, in grief and loss. Grief, just the cycles of grief. There are more than 4. There are many, many cycles of grief, including anger. And a child or person can get stuck in any one of those cycles and never progress through to the other side of grief.
Yeah, they just
can get stuck in anger or whatever the case may be.
How did your biological children handle that whole environment, or was that a big challenge?
They did really well.
Wow.
My children were 12, 10, and 7 when we moved here. And I imagine they felt thrown in
to the lion's
some
den?
sort of chaos. They had a very normal, or if there is such a word, life with mom and dad and, you know, our single family unit. And then we moved here. Of course, we prepared them for that, but my boys were able to share a bedroom and my daughter had a single room to herself. But kids would come and go. I think one of the things that really saved them was the fact that I kept them home and homeschooled them.
Oh my.
So while other children would go off to school, I had them home for seven hours
They really got
By the
some
time
critical attention.
they
Mhm.
never had to fight for my attention or
Oh,
wonder, has she lost sight of me?
yes.
They knew even as kids would come and go that they would not go. They were our children and they would remain with us. And so they will tell you now, because they're 33, 31,
Uh-huh.
and 29, they'll tell you now how horrible it was and all of that. But no, they don't mean
Well,
it. And they are all in service type industries.
that's
I
interesting.
bet.
That,
I'm
Yeah.
no
So-
doubt that doesn't even surprise me
Yeah,
one
they-
bit when you grow up in that kind of love and giving environment, which I would say
Mhm.
I did. I watched my parents both very sacrificial. My dad in the fire services, my mother doing music and different things. The service was, they were all, that was their lives. And so it's, you just fall into it in a
Mhm.
very, and I feel very blessed because of that. There's a lot of, yeah, they might feel like they didn't have a normal life, but they had a rich life.
Mhm. And the culture too of also learning to live with people from another culture. I mean, yes, it's difficult, but it's also such an enriching thing that I'm
Right.
sure they took with them. And I must tell you though, I think that people who are mothers and fathers to children of this situation. I mean, 11 children. I mean, our hats off to you and the people like you. And I'm sure there's a lot of burnout, isn't there?
There is. Now, the national average in that type position, a house parent, cottage parent, is 10 months.
10 months.
It's
months.
basically a school year. It's
Wow.
a tough job, and there's a lot of documentation too. If you're a natural
Okay.
child, if there's an offense and then there's a
I see.
disciplinary measure, you ground them, you just do it and go about your day. But we have to document everything.
Okay.
So it's it's professional parenting.
I see.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
So we were in that position 5 years and had 35 children.
my goodness.
So
5 years, and the average
yes.
is 10 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you really just had the heart and the desire and the passion for it? It sounds like.
I just fell in love with taking care of God's precious children.
Wow.
I'm a discipler, so I taught all along the way. No girl left my home without knowing how to actually make biscuits and gravy and mac and cheese, all of those things. But we tried to make life fun because life is fun to me. And we
Yeah.
tried to pass that along to the kids. And I hear from them.
That's wonderful.
Just, I think last week, well, he's a full grown man, but he was driving around the campus and someone stopped him and he mentioned my name and said, I used to live here. I'm sure she's long gone, but
Oh.
they come back looking for us.
Yeah.
And all of our house parents that have been here experience that.
And
I hear from them on birthdays and even on Mother's
Oh.
Day. And
how sweet.
it's been a very rewarding experience.
That's so fantastic. And after you spent 5 years giving your life like this, and it's a 24/7 job, isn't it? I mean, parenting
is.
into 11 children with all of these needs and all of even the bureaucracy, but just everything involved. So after 5 years of that, then what did you do?
Well, I stayed. The little baby that was placed with me, he was placed with me after I'd been here 2 years. So 3 years later, at the 5-year mark, the tribe wanted to place him in a more traditional foster care setting because they didn't want him to grow up in group care.
Mm.
Sure.
Well, at that point, all the other children in our home were leaving. So we consulted with Jim and Kay Baker, who were our supervisors at the time, and Bob Fitz, and we decided to take jobs off campus and move off campus so they would leave this child with us. And we became Navajo Nation approved foster parents.
Okay.
Wow.
He came to live with us as a 3-year-old, but in just 2 short months, the tribe granted permanent guardianship to us.
Oh my goodness.
So I actually returned to work here with Vertical Radio. So I was a morning show DJ, and I did marketing for Vertical.
Now I
and
recall some of
then-
that. Yes.
Yes, and then shortly into that, 2 years maybe, Kay Baker decided to step back from leadership here. She was going through a very traumatic situation with her granddaughter, who did pass away.
Yes.
And she stepped out of the leadership role, and I stepped into that.
Okay. Mhm.
And I did that for a number of years. And after 12 years, I moved to South Florida. I don't recommend it, but I ended up
That's how
moving
you
to
really
South
feel.
Florida
You don't
and
recommend it.
joining another ministry. And I know you want to know how I got back, and we can talk about that now. But 2 years ago, the then president called me in Florida and said, "Hey, could you come out for a week and just help?" There had been some transition here, and he was a brand new president. And he said, "I don't really know what I don't know.
Okay.
And I think maybe we're not in compliance in some areas with our regulations. Could you just come and look through files, come and help for a week?" That was 2 years ago. I never left. So I started transitioning back and forth to Florida.
My goodness. Yes.
And then when I was offered a VP position here, I talked to my husband about that in Florida, prayed with him, and he said, "You know what? Let's move back."
Cool.
So we did. And shortly after that, the then president stepped aside, and the board asked me to fill that role as an interim. So for a while, it was the song stylings of interim and emeritus. So it was myself as interim president and Jim Baker as emeritus. So it was interim and emeritus. And after 6 months, the board said, "Nah, we think she can do it.
That's awesome.
Let's just bring her on." So
it hasn't been you haven't been in this position very long as the president. Not very long.
all of COVID. All of the
Ay,
COVID.
ay, ay.
So,
Woo.
Ay,
so
ay, ay.
December of 2019, the board elected me as the permanent president, the 5th president of Navajo Missions,
Wow.
Navajo Ministries, Four Corners Home for Children. And COVID hit within the first 2 or 3 months. So it's been rocky.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
I'm
goodness.
sure.
Can't even imagine.
Just a lot of things we've been hit with that.
Nobody expected.
What do we do? How do we do that? But I have a great team with Jim and Kay Baker, Bob Fitz, and then our board, they're just fantastic people.
Mhm.
So
Oh,
they
yeah.
are a
Yeah.
great team
Oh
here.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
And I would like to maybe back up just a little bit and understand what it might be like working with the tribe, because it's its own kind of country within a country.
Yes.
A whole, different regulations, different laws, different what that's like, and what have you taken away from that culture that you wouldn't have had they not been a part of your experience?
Well, the Navajo Nation is fantastic to work with. But again, we've been here 68 years this year. So they know us and respect us.
Yes.
And we are able just to work together, I think, beautifully.
Good.
They call with a need. And Shauna, it's bittersweet. We just hate that there is that need, but to be able to meet it and fulfill not only the Great Commission, but just James's description of pure religion, to care for widows and orphans and their need.
Yep.
It's just quite an honor and a blessing. We love doing it. We love being able to work with the tribal authorities. We don't take funding from them either. We care for the children, and we work in conjunction with them. As we care for the parents, they try to work with the parents and help the parents to receive the services they need in order to reunite with their children. And we don't hang on to the kids. That's not what it's about. We are not here to take anyone's kids from them. Our prayer every day is that someday your mom can come get you.
Yeah.
And we
That's beautiful.
facilitate communication between them in whatever form we can. And when it's time to reunite, it's heartbreaking for us because we miss the child, especially if it's a little one we've raised up for years. But the way I handled that, and the way I try to help my house moms to handle that, is knowing that these 3 children, the sibling group is leaving, and that is breaking your heart. But what's happening that you can't see is there's 3 other kids out there, and they desperately need to be here, and they need you caring for them.
Yes, absolutely.
And so
That makes so much sense.
you've helped these kids, and what they learn here, they may or may not be able to use when they go back home to mom and dad.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to be moms and dads someday.
That's right.
They're going to grow up, and hopefully,
Right.
like Alex, who drove through the campus last week, they'll remember what they learned here and they'll return to it. They won't return here, but they'll return to the Christian principles that they learned and they saw walked out in our staff.
Yes.
We are serious about that.
Yes.
We are not just here to provide safety, food, and shelter for children. We are here to point them to Jesus Christ, who is their answer for everything in life they will ever face.
Yes. Yes.
And so in doing that, how do you assimilate and how do you keep their culture intact and keep them feeling grounded in who they are as a tribal member, as well as kind of this coming on board into the children's home?
And that's an issue because most of us as house parents are coming from somewhere else.
Yeah,
I came
that's
from
right.
Kentucky. My house parents now are from California and North Carolina. So that's an issue because we may not be very well educated on the Navajo culture.
Mm-hmm.
So we do trainings for our staff in that area. We have numerous Navajo staff who help us with that as well. But we have a Navajo culture and language teacher.
Awesome.
And a school on grounds, which became beautiful when COVID hit. We already had a school here. So homeschooling for us looks a little different than it does for working mothers across the country.
Yeah.
But we have a Navajo language and education and culture teacher, and she comes right into the school and she teaches our students how to weave.
Oh,
She teaches them the language, how to speak it, write it, what it means, and she teaches them about culture.
That's fantastic. So they're able to keep that going, which is so important.
Yes, and that's important to us as well.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes. What challenges do you face in your position or that the ministry is facing right now? What are the biggest challenges that you have?
God blessed us tremendously through 2020, even financially. Of course, we all know the Navajo Nation was hit very hard by COVID.
Yes.
But through that, as people from all across the country would search for ministries on the Navajo Nation or Navajo ministries, well, who do you think they found? They found us. And so we were able to bless the Navajo people through resources from across America. Money, cleaning supplies, food, clothing. We do some of that throughout the year anyway. But and our donors, our regular donors, we have a $1.2 million annual budget.
And mainly from donors?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
They don't
average
receive.
check is $25.
Wow.
Our average check is $20. That's a lot of checks.
That's
a
a
lot.
Mail. Two staff members, myself and another, open the mail every day. We take out the checks, we log them in, and then we pray for those donors.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them. Every day. That's my favorite part of the day.
And that's what listeners I would love to hit home with is you are just as much a part of it. $25 a month is huge to nonprofits like us who want to get out there and help as many people as we can. And we just can't do it without that financial gift. We just can't.
So Rana, our challenges are keeping staff. Our average tenure for house parents over the past 3 to 5 years has not been, our normal average had been around 3 years, but for the past couple of years, it has not been that. So we are struggling to keep staff
Okay.
Have house parents now who've been here a year, and that's a beautiful thing. And they are very, very committed, but it is a hard job. So I
Yes,
have
it
one
is.
home closed out of the 3 homes because I can't find staff.
Okay.
We have the budget for them, but it takes great commitment.
Yes, it does.
And when COVID hit, everything shut down. And so we don't even have applicants right now. But staffing, I would say, is
It's a big
our main need right now. I have full-time positions available, live-in positions. I have part-time childcare positions. I have a position open for a ministry cook. We don't require our house moms to make the evening meal through the week. We have a cook who does that for the children's homes, and that position's open.
Okay.
So,
Well,
and the
good.
children, I think part of the reason why our tenure is not as long as it used to be is because the issues the children bring with them are much different than they were
I
20
see.
years ago when I was a mom.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
There is a lot of abuse that is taking place in the world, not just on the reservation,
That's
but
right.
with children the world over, with
Yeah.
trafficking and some of the other domestic violence issues that are caused by substance abuse. That's happening everywhere. And the children that we see coming in have suffered more abuse
Okay.
than they
What
had
you
20 years
saw
ago.
in years ago.
Right.
So that
right.
makes the challenge so much bigger.
It does.
And do you feel that that's due to society, COVID, everything combined? That it's
I wish I
becoming
knew. I wish I knew.
It's hard to put your finger on it, isn't it? It's really hard.
The addiction rate is huge, not just here, everywhere.
Everywhere. Yeah,
And that leads to abuse and domestic violence and all of these abandonment, all of these other things.
right.
So
At the root of so many things. Well, I've been in the area since 1967, and I can tell you that Navajo Ministries, and I knew the founder very, very well. We were close friends, Jack, and what a tremendous ministry you all have in this area, and the impact that you make. And you will not find, we want our listeners to know, you will not find a better organization to give to. We want to encourage people to give to Navajo Ministries and to pray for them, and the Four Corners Home for Children, because you can trust in the integrity of this organization. And we really do want to encourage our people. We have an event every year, except for last year during COVID,
Right.
called Get Mom Down, where
Yep.
Sean and I live on a roof, and we give part of the proceeds to Navajo Ministries. And so we're hoping to do it this year, and be able to do that. But we really, really appreciate from the bottom of our hearts everyone in this community, the work that you all do. And it's hard, and very few people are going to sign up for that kind of commitment. And we are so deeply thankful for what you all do, and the difference that you're making in lives. And not
Thank
everyone,
you.
and I know you won't always see the fruits of it now, but you know that anytime you invest in people, that's a lasting investment. And what can you tell our people, particularly women, is a lot of our audience that we're targeting. One of the biggest goals that we have is to help people understand. Listen, find out what your gifts are. Get in on using them to help other people, because in that process, that's where real purpose and meaning is in life. And we live in a society and culture that's all about me, and as a result, Americans are the most miserable. We have so much materially, but we're miserable because so many people are not getting out of themselves and using their gifts to help other people, and missing out on that blessing. So how can you encourage people to get involved in what their gifts are, and in so doing finding purpose?
Many people just have no idea what their gifts are. And they
There you
they
go.
say, I don't know what my spiritual gifts are. I don't know what my talents are. Listen, if there's something you love to do,
There you go.
that's your gift.
There you go.
It's that easy.
There
It
you
is. And
go.
if you use that gift to serve other people, it doesn't have to be 24/7. You don't have to live in a children's home and raise children
That's
that
right.
aren't your own. But if you take your gifts and talents and use them to just serve someone, you will be among the happiest of people, the most content and joy filled.
Yeah.
Annette,
Listen,
that is.
I thought cooking was my spiritual gift, but I used it to make cheesecakes for other people. Just make something,
There
take
you
it to
go.
someone.
Yeah.
Even in this COVID world, you can bless someone. Just
Yes.
bless someone with
Mhm.
whatever it is you can do.
Mhm.
And just the joy and the high that you get from that, you'll know what your gifts are.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's great advice. That's perfect. And okay, so real quick, Annette, favorite color,
Red, black and white or red.
favorite food.
All food. I don't have, so this is so difficult because I tell my husband and my kids I don't have favorites. I can't pick a favorite food. I could probably eat pizza every day, but
And
black coffee, I don't know.
what about one of your most favorite books?
One of my most favorite books is called The Attack Lambs.
The
Mm.
Attack Lambs.
Yes, the gates of hell will not prevail
Mm.
against the attack lambs. We are lambs, but we are on attack.
Wow.
It is written
Attack
by
Lamb.
Mark Geppert,
That
who
sounds like a
runs
video
Southeast
game.
Asia Prayer Center. He runs the Southeast Asia Prayer Center in Pittsburgh area, Pennsylvania.
Cool.
Mm.
It's right by my Bible.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so very, very much. And we really, once again, want our listeners to know, get involved with Navajo Ministries and Four Corners Home for Children, because that is such a great place to put your talents, your money, the time that God has given to you. And you have truly found that to lose your life is to find it.
Oh my goodness, yes, absolutely.
And
If you hang on to your life, it's not really yours, and you are miserable. Yeah,
That's
give it away. My goodness, give it away.
yes.
Mm.
Oh,
I want to put in a plug for my little baby Navajo boy that was placed with me 20 years ago.
mm,
He is now, we protected him for years, and he's now protecting us. He's at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq,
Oh,
in
wow.
Baghdad, as a United States Marine.
Wow.
what a beautiful story.
Right. We have
And
amazing
babies weren't your
success stories.
thing. And look at the baby that you raised and what God did. I mean, God bless you so very, very much. We love you, and we're going to continue to support and pray for you. And please let us know anything that we can do. And we just want you to know that we're with you. And
I know you are, Ronnie. You always have been, Shauna. It's nice to meet you.
You
Yeah.
too.
And you made a very true statement. You are very blessed. Your mom and dad are just stellar examples of what Christians should be, how they should live, how they should raise their children and support their community. And I love them.
Thank you.
Aw.
We love you too. And we want to have you back on. God bless you. God bless the work of your hands.
Thank you.
And we just are so thankful that God uses us to bless others. And in so doing, we get the greatest blessing of all.
We do. Yeah.
So have a great rest of the evening, and we'll get back with you and keep in touch and keep encouraging you as much as we can.
Thank you. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Blessings to you both.
Thank you too. Bye, Annette.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, Annette is quite the person. I don't think I could do what she does or what she did in being foster parents, taking in these children from the reservation. And, obviously they have so many problems. And then they had children of their own, and yours, mine, and ours mix. And then becoming the president of such a great organization.
yeah.
We love partnering with Navajo Ministries.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's hard enough raising the two kids that I have. I have picked up some kids along the way that I
True.
quote unquote adopt, not legally, but love and support. And what she's doing is just, it's beautiful and amazing. And like you said, a great organization that's been around for a long time.
And those types of women are my heroes.
Yeah.
You know, the people that are on the front lines. A lot of times people will say, wow, Rana, what you do? And I'm like, listen, I can't touch the hem of those people's garments who are on the front lines. You know, in Kenya, we see grandmothers that are taking care of 10, 12 of their grandkids, or people in the villages. I mean, those are the people doing the real work. We're raising money by selling bags to help support women like that. But those are the real heroes. And speaking of bags, we want to show you a few from our collection. And this one is a really, really nice tote bag. It's, again, of a good size for those of you who like to pack everything in your bag. Love, love, love the color.
Yeah.
This is one of our popular colors and one of our popular bags, like the rope, the rope handle. And again, plenty of room. Also, I like these pouches for the keys, for the cell phone. So this is one of our popular bags.
Yeah. And I have one to show off as well. This one's just cute and fun. It's different. It's got these little ruffly designs and a fun
knot thing.
Yeah. So it's
soft leather.
Yeah, it's cute. It's just it's different. It's fun. There's quite a good amount of room and a zipper pocket
Plenty of room.
inside. So that's another one of the bags that you can purchase on thebagladyshow.com to help us raise support, awareness, money for people here in America and around the world.
So it is time for our weekly drawing.
All right, this is fun.
And one person's going to get a nice little prize here. Let's see who that might be. And the winner is Nancy Brown of Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Yeah.
You are today's winner of the Bag Lady Show.
Congratulations.
Drawing. Now let's see what you're going to
win. You are winning a travel makeup bag.
Oh, and do I have it? Hold on. I think maybe I have it right down here even.
Oh, how cute.
Nice bag, isn't it?
That's adorable.
And look, tons of room. Tons and tons of room. Like the blue and white
I do
stripes.
too. It's cute.
So you open it up. Look at all this. You can hang it up.
Yeah.
Lots of room to take all your cosmetics and things for a nice weekend away. So,
Congratulations.
Nancy Brown, congratulations.
And thank you for signing up to be in the weekly drawing. We appreciate your support. And as always, like us on Facebook, share us. We're on Instagram. We're all over the place. And with your support, go to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, and keep coming along with us. We're having so much fun.
Yeah, we are. And we hope you are too, and learning a lot along the way.
Yeah.
Our famous quote of the day by John Holmes: "There is no exercise better for the heart than reaching down and lifting people up."
That's so true. So let's go get our heart exercise this week by giving people a handshake, helping them out, and make sure that you buy a bag, help a cause, change a life.